Okay. Hello everybody, welcome to our webinar tonight. So today is our third webinar series with Bursa Malaysia and our topic for today will be Introduction to Shariah Compliant Trading with our speaker Dr. Adam Zubir. Before we begin, if you can hear me clearly and if you can see the screen, can you please click raise the hand button? I repeat, if you can hear me clearly and if you can see the screen, can you please click raise the hand button? Okay, I see a lot of you raising your hands now. Okay, so for now, I would like to pass over to Dr. Adam Zubir to continue with the webinar tonight.
All right, thank you very much, Smita. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you for being here. So I think in this webinar, we will do mix. I think we do both English and Malay, okay? That's okay. Okay, so because the topic alone, okay, the topic for today is, melabur saham tidak patuh syariah. Betul ke? You know, I got this question a lot of time as well. And you know, I want to tell you guys whether this statement is it right or is it not quite right? Okay. So before that, let me introduce myself first. Okay. So my name is Dr. Adam Zubir, and first of all, I want to clarify here the doctor. Most people ask me, "Wow, so you have PhD?" Okay, it's not PhD. Okay, bukan PhD. So it's basically doctor, i.e. medical doctor. So I was a medical doctor before, okay? And now, Alhamdulillah, since 2017, I start my journey in the financial industry. So now I already have my CFP, which is Certified Financial Planner, and also IFP, Islamic Financial Planner. And basically, I'm a Certified Financial Planner, okay? That's what I do right now. And with this qualification, I also applied license with both Bank Negara Malaysia and also the Securities Commission of Malaysia. Just want to tell you guys about this license, okay? A lot of people, ramai orang boleh ambil that qualification, either IFP or CFP, but not many people applied for license. And in Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken, around the figure 1,000, around that figure as we speak. The financial advisor representative with Bank Negara is less than 900 people actually to cover the whole of Malaysia. Wow. So it's actually, you know, tak ramai pun kat luar sana. Okay. Yes, and just want to let you know what the function of having this license. Basically, when we are licensed financial planner, we are independent. So we are not attached to any one particular company, but we are more of like an independent consultant. Okay, so we can give advice and then give you unbiased product.
Oh, okay.
With regards to whatever you need. Okay, and like I said, the qualification is Certified Financial Planner and Islamic Financial Planner. I also took Shariah Registered Financial Planner. And for those of you who watch this webinar, if I may, you guys can follow me on Facebook. My Facebook page is @Dr. Adam Zubir. Okay, so that's enough for me. Let's get straight to the topic today. Okay, so we want to discuss. I want to give you an introduction of Shariah compliant trading. So first of all, I want to tell you about what is stock trading / investing. Okay, you need to understand what is stock trading or investing. So basically pelaburan saham ni apa dia? Kena faham dulu pelaburan saham tu apa. And yang kedua, the elements that are prohibited in Shariah compliant investment. Apa benda yang tak dibenarkan dalam Shariah compliant, dalam pelaburan Shariah compliant ini? Okay. Yang ketiga, kita nak tengok macam mana sesuatu saham itu what are the screening methods to say that a particular investment, whether it's to say whether the particular stock, technical, whether the stock is Shariah compliant or not. And then number 4 is what are Shariah compliant instruments out there. Okay, and last but Number 5, last but not least, we want to see how to spot Shariah compliant products. Okay, so these are the 5 learning outcomes that we will run through today. I think in less than about 40 minutes. Okay, so shall I start?
Yes,
okay.
you can start now.
Do you want to add anything?
No,
Okay. So let me start with investing in the stock market. What is it investing in the stock market? Apa itu pelaburan saham? Okay. Nama pun investing in the stock market. Kan? Pelaburan saham, yes. Tapi pasaran saham, stock market, pasaran. Okay. If I ask you, how does a normal market looks like? Kan? Pasar normally look like what? Kan? Kita pernah, semua ramai yang dah pernah pergi pasar malam, ya, pasar tani lah, or you can go to shopping mall, Giants and so on. It's cool. So does it look something like this, right?
Yeah.
Kan? Okay. So kita beli, this is like pasar sayur. Okay, kita beli sayur. Beli sayur tu, kalau kita beli kan, Shariah compliant ke tidak?
Yes.
Yes. Obviously lah kan. We buy kan. So everyone buying from the shopping mall or the the pasar tani and so on. So kita beli. Okay. So that is pasaran that we know of. And it's similar to a pasaran saham. Okay. It's very similar. So instead of beli ayam, beli ikan, beli buah-buah, apa yang kita beli? Kita beli company. Yes, mungkin kita tak nampak physical, but it's real business that we are buying from the stock market. So that's why it's called stock market. They are selling shares of a company. So sama kan, kat situ pun kita tahu, okay, konsepnya sama. Okay. So if I want to go in deep, in terms of the law, Shariah law. So first we need to understand Islam, the Islam itself. Okay. So as you can see from my diagram, everyone can see. So Islam terdiri daripada tiga cabang. Okay. So first of all, it's either akidah, Shariah dan juga akhlak. Okay, I just run through very quickly. And now we are focusing on the Shariah. Shariah is the law. The Shariah law, we've heard about that. So undang-undang dalam Islam ni. Okay. And Shariah also divided into four categories. Okay. We have the ibadah, we have the muamalat, munakahat, and jinayat. Okay. So ibadat is we worship. We worship Allah, for example. That is the ibadah, how we worship Allah. And then the munakahat is marital affairs, okay, perkahwinan. And jinayat is criminal affairs. Jinayah. Okay. The name jinayat, jenayah.
Sounds similar.
Sounds similar. And then we have muamalat. So muamalat is the economic affairs. So this is where Islamic finance falls under. So if if any of the Sharia advisor out there, before they come up with any fatwa, or whether they want to say whether this is Sharia compliant or not, they always go back to the foundation, the fundamental of muamalat, okay? The economic affairs. So kita kena tengok muamalat ni, okay? Dari segi jual beli, undang-undang jual beli. Now, we are focusing on these two. So dalam urusan jual beli, kita pernah dengar sesuatu jual beli tu kalau nak memenuhi kriteria rukun jual beli ni, we need to have these 5 things, or like in English 5 pillars of contracts according to Shariah, to say that all these things must exist before it can become Shariah compliant or not. Okay, semua ni kena ada. Okay, we start with the first one, the seller. Okay, penjual, and then penjual kena ada
buyer.
Pembeli, yes, buyer. We cannot sell. Then we need a buyer. We need 2 party. Okay, and before we can buy the things, we need the item itself. Okay, so for example, the phone. So I'm selling the phone. So this is the goods that I'm selling. Okay, seller, buyer, goods, and then we need the price. How much do we want to sell? For example, this iPhone. How much I want to sell? Okay, and last but not least is the sirah. Sirah is ijab and kabul. It sounds like, wow, what is this Arabic term? Okay, but it's actually offer and acceptance.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm offering you, for example, my phone for like 2,000 ringgit. Okay, so we have the phone, we have the seller, we have the phone, and then we have the price, 2,000 ringgit, and I'm offering you. And then you, on the other hand, as the buyer, you say, okay, I'll accept this for 2,000 ringgit. You accept it. So all that need to exist. Okay, semua tu kena ada supaya benda tu jadi Shariah compliant. Okay, understand so far?
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's look in terms of the saham, stock trading itself. Okay. So bila kita tengok saham, saham pun sama juga, dia kena ada penjual and pembeli. So when we buy a stock in the stock market, we buy it from someone. There must be someone. It can be the institution or it can be from other traders or investors. Okay, so and they are buying what actually? Okay, they are buying businesses in the form of the share. Okay, 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 units, and so on. Okay, so we have the goods. So tick, tick, tick. Okay, we have the 3 ticks. Seller, buyer, goods. And then we have the price. So for example, the goods can be, I just give an example. Okay, disclaimer, not a buy call. Okay, so for example, like TNB. Okay, everyone knows TNB. Okay, now we are using electricity, so we know it comes from TNB. Semua orang dapat bill TNB kan? So the TNB itself is the goods, is the company that we are buying. And then the price of the share. If you look Google right now, I just checked today, closing price, 13 ringgit 80 cent. Okay, so that's one share. So that is the price. And then the SIRA, the offer and acceptance, is when we apply for the brokerage, and especially Islamic brokerage, we have the contract saying that, you know, whatever that we do, we off. For example, we are buying, we give the offer, and then we accept the business in return, the share in return. So it fulfill all 5. So now I ask you, is it Shariah compliant or not? Can Shariah compliant to invest in the stock market? You know, you can see it fulfill all this criteria.
All 5 criteria.
Yeah, exactly. So it most people, they get confused because, you know, buying in the stock market, they don't see the, you know, the item, but actually it's actually a business. You know, people are running the business on a global or international level. So yeah, you don't see it, but actually you are buying part of the business. Okay. So far clear?
Clear.
Clear. Clear?
Clear.
Okay, so that's the 5 pillars of contract according to Shariah. So then, okay, if buying stocks or buying shares from the stock market is already Shariah compliant, so what makes it non-Shariah compliant? Let's go through the prohibited elements in a Shariah compliant investment. Okay, so far there's 4 elements that we need to understand. Okay, 4 perkara. 4 perkara ni tinggalkan jauh-jauh. Okay, jauh. Don't play around with these 4 elements. So I will go through one by one. Okay. The first thing is riba. Okay, riba, or the definition is interest or usuri. What does it mean? So if you look at the definition, riba, excess or surplus, charge over and above loan, a deferred price of that. Okay, I'll bring Smita for example. Okay, so like I want to borrow money from Smita. So Smita gave me, okay, can you borrow me 2,000 ringgit?
Okay.
Wow, can I? Okay, so she gave me 2,000 ringgit, but then she gave me a rule. Okay, I can give you this 2,000 ringgit, but okay, when so for example, I promise to pay you in 1 week's time. Okay, and then you say okay, but after 1 week, you know, every week that the late payment, I will charge an interest on top of that. So like 2% or 1%, whatever. Okay, so that is riba.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so you cannot do that.
So I can't, if I do that, then it's not Shariah compliant.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for example, like in the banking system, conventional banking system, normally they charge on the loan that I take. So for example, I'm buying a house, you know, house for example 500,000. So I bought the 500,000, and then they charge interest on the amount over a period of time. So that alone is riba.
Oh, okay. Wow.
That's why we have Islamic loan and we have conventional loan, right? Especially, for example, like credit card also, there's the Islamic credit card and also the conventional credit card. And the difference is on the contract itself, how they structure the contract itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for example, this is real scenario, real case happened to me yesterday. A banker, I'm trying to buy a house, but then this banker offered me, do you want to sign up for a credit card loan? Credit card on top of that as well, you know. And then I asked him, okay, what type of credit card? He showed me it's a conventional credit card. So technically, I cannot apply that conventional credit card.
For the credit card itself?
Exactly. Even if I want to apply for a credit card, it has to be Shariah compliant.
Oh, okay. Yes. So there's no riba in the...
So that there's no riba element. So goes back to this, in the stock market also, you have to avoid any company that has a riba element. Okay, riba. dalam company itulah. So for example apa? Contoh, company apa yang ada riba? Like I mentioned before. So you can see financial services based on riba. Okay, so banking stocks normally is non-Shariah. Okay, normally, except for BIMB, it's Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, like duh. But the rest is non-Shariah. Okay, so that's number one. Then number two is maisir. Okay, maisir, the definition is gambling. So any element of gambling. Okay, so this is.
Sorry.
Can I?
Yeah, you can.
I can continue.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So gambling, yes. So any gambling also, any form of gambling, we cannot invest in. So pure, like, okay, what is gambling? Pure games of chance, where one party gains at the expense of the loss to the another party. Okay, so especially in gambling or gaming, when you put your money betting on something, and then you either lose your money or multiply your money. So saham-saham contoh macam genting. You know, genting obviously, there's a lot of gambling. So it's non-Sharia compliant, or any other companies that have activities in gambling, we cannot, it's non-Sharia. Okay, that's number two. And then number three is gharar. Okay, gharar is uncertainty. Uncertainties in contract regarding contracting parties, subject matter, price, etc. Okay, what does this mean?
Yeah.
You know, gharar. Okay. So gharar, uncertainties ni something that we cannot tell for sure. Okay, so it's for example, like okay, I want to give an example. For example, if the business, the nature of business is not certain, we don't know what they're doing. You know, there's so many layers in the business, and then or they can't even tell you what business they are in. Okay. So like obviously like black market, you know, that is very uncertainty, and we should avoid this kind of businesses. And anything that is not certain, also gharar, means gharar. I'll get back to you if I remember any good example about the gharar. Okay? So these are the elements that we should avoid. And last but not least is other non-permissible activities. So not included in the riba, maisir, gharar. So example, conventional insurance. Okay, like conventional banking, conventional loan, conventional insurance also is non-permissible. So kalau you nak invest in conventional insurance, like you know, like for example, AXA. This is just an example. Okay, AIA, Zurich, all that, the insurance part. So it's basically non-Sharia. Okay. And then we have the non-halal food or related products. Okay, so tobacco related products. Why is this tobacco? Because tobacco is haram. Because it causes more harm than benefit. Okay. So fatwa said that it's haram. So you cannot invest, because if you invest, in a way you are like supporting the action.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So and entertainment that contradict to Sharia. Too much entertainment, for example, share trading in Sharia non-compliant securities, and other non-permissible activities as well, like alcohol, all that. So we should avoid. So these are the four elements that is non-permissible within a Sharia compliant investment. So we have to take this all out. Okay. Okay. So far clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay, clear? Okay. So that's it. So before you invest in any of the companies, go through these elements and then see, does the company have any of these elements? And I want to tell you, okay, how do they screen this company, whether is it Sharia or is it non-Sharia? Okay, the method that in Malaysia we are governed, all the investment are governed by Securities Commission and also Bank Negara. So how does Securities Commission determine whether this company, okay, whatever company it is, whether it is Sharia or is it non-Sharia? So they use this Sharia screening methodology, and you can divide this into two categories. One is quantitative assessment and another one is qualitative assessment. Okay, so far so good.
Yeah.
Quantitative, qualitative. Okay. And as you can see, the Shariah screening is carried out by the Shariah Advisory Council of Securities Commission Malaysia. And these people, this is their job to review and all the companies who are listed on the exchange, and even during pre-initial public offering like IPO, before the company go public listed, they will go through a screening methodology to say whether this is Sharia or this is non-Sharia. All this is important so that us public, the public can invest, especially Muslim and those who want to invest in ethical companies, okay, to invest with ease. Tanpa ragu-ragu. Kita nak invest tanpa ragu-ragu. And baiknya kerajaan kita ada this screening process. They do it for us. Okay, kita just hanya perlu follow saja yang pakar. And yes, and how they review it? They review based on the quantitative assessment and also the qualitative assessment. Let me go through you one by one. Okay. First of all, the quantitative assessment. There's two. So basically, they look at first of all, they look at the activity-based benchmark. So what are the core activity of the company? Okay, so look at the core activity of the company. Any one of it that falls under this part here, okay, conventional banking, conventional insurance, gamblings, and such, it has to be less than 5% from the financial statement, from the net worth, okay, from the balance sheet. Sorry, yeah, from the balance sheet, it has to be less than 5%. Whatever the income. Later I'll show you. I'll go through you an example. Okay. And then the second level is other things. For example, like share trading, stock broking business, rental received from Sharia non-compliant activities. So imagine the business owns a building, and then looking at the building, the rental received from a Sharia non-compliant activities. For example, there's a kedai yang jual alkohol, contohnya, ataupun the kedai yang banking, you know, the conventional banking. So the rental amount has to be, the total has to be less than 20%. Okay, and then you look at the financial ratio benchmark, cash over total asset. Where do they put the money? So big businesses, they have a lot of cash. Okay, where do they put this cash? So, and the amount, if they put in a conventional accounts or instrument, they have to be less than 33%. And the same thing as debt over total assets. For example, the debt, the interest-bearing debt, it has to be less than 33%. That is conventional, and the rest must be Islamic. Okay. So that's the quantitative assessment, purely on the financial statement of the company. Okay, very easy. Just look at the numbers, do calculation, and then you get the answer. Okay, there's no gray. It's like white or black. Oh, okay. And very, very straightforward. Yeah. And also there's the qualitative assessment, and this can be very subjective. Qualitative, so it's subjective. It based on the public perception, maslahah, whether it has benefit for all. Okay. You know, like in Malaysia, ada tak company tu apa kepentingan dia terhadap ekonomi negara tu? You know, looking at all that, and also the image of the company's activities towards Islam. You know, good perception or bad perception against Islam. Okay. So this is the qualitative assessment. So only two. Okay. Okay. And as you can see, so the screening process starts from the Suruhanjaya security. And you know, stage 1, look at the core activity screening. Stage 2, mixed activity screening. And then look at the financial ratio benchmark and also image of the company. So for the company, for any of the company to be Sharia compliant, it has to pass all of this stage. Okay. You know, stage 1, 2, 3, 4. And if any of these fail, then it becomes Sharia non-compliant securities. Okay. Strict tak?
Yes, very strict.
Very strict, isn't it? Wow. So if you look at this, like, wow, then, you know, then mesti sikit kan, mesti sikit je yang Sharia compliant, mesti banyak yang Sharia yang non Sharia compliant out there. Okay, ya, sebab strict sangat kan, memang strict. So dia nak jaga kebajikan kita umat Islam, okay, di Malaysia. So I'm just giving you, okay, so this is how it works. So like you say, like I say, so you look at the core activities. So core activities, any of these, if they do gambling, conventional banking, conventional insurance, The core activities, if it's non-Sharia, then the screening process, no. They don't even, so it straight away Sharia non-compliant. What about the second option? If you look at the bottom part, core activity is in construction. Okay, construction, okay, what?
Yeah.
Bina bangunan, okay, plantation, or other permissible activities. But there's also subsidiaries involved. So part of the company's subsidiaries, small subsidiaries, they have tobacco or gambling, insurance, conventional banking. Okay, so what happened then? So this is where Suruhanjaya Consumer Security akan ambil company ni untuk go through the screening process. And then we see, could it be Sharia compliant or otherwise?
Okay.
And I will show you one example how it's done. Okay. So this is an example, a business called Atap Holdings Berhad. Okay. Again, this is not a buy call, just an example. I have to be very careful with this.
Yeah.
Okay, so Atap Holding Berhad, there's two subsidiaries. One is called Atap Plantation Sdn Berhad, and another one is Atap Games Sdn Berhad. Okay, and then you look at the turnover. Atap Holding Berhad is 15 billion, and then Atap Games Sdn Berhad is 1 billion. Okay, just look at the number, and then you look at the profit before tax. Atap Holding Berhad, the profit is 10 billion. And Atap Games Sdn Berhad is 0.3 billion. So we have the numbers. So this is the first part just now, the quantitative assessment. As you can see, the turnover, 1 billion over 15 billion is 7%. So 7% is more than 5%, like from one of the ratio. And profit before tax, it's 0.3 billion over 10 billion. It's 3%. So it's less than 5%. So how do we judge? So this 7%, more than 5%, it becomes non-Sharia compliant. But the 3% is less than 5% is Sharia compliant. Okay. So which one? Kan, mana satu nak pilih?
Yeah.
One part, when they look at the turnover, it's non-Sharia. But when they look at profit before tax, it's Sharia compliant. Do they take the non-profit before tax or do they take the turnover? So when in doubt, it becomes Sharia non-compliant.
Oh, okay.
Remember that all the stage, it has to pass all the 4 stages, every single one. So in this case, one is like not, one is definitely non-Sharia, another one is Sharia. So to be on the safe side, it
just
becomes
no.
no Sharia.
Okay.
Wow. Then banyak lah kan.
Yeah.
Investment kat luar sana non-Sharia. Betul ke tak? Okay. Let me show you what are the instruments out there, the Sharia compliant instruments. Nak tengok tak? Kan? After all the screening kan, like the strict screening, mesti sikit. Okay, let me show you the numbers. Okay, so these are the overview of Islamic securities, securities, as at July 2019, which is very recent, 3 months ago. As you can see, this is very difficult to see, but you can see the ratio. Let me just show you the ratio. Mana lagi banyak? Non-Syariah ke Syariah?
Syariah.
Kan?
Yeah.
Surprisingly, even with all the strict screening methodology, Sharia compliant companies still almost more than triple the numbers of non-Sharia compliant out there. Oh, yeah, I mean more than double.
Yeah,
okay, slightly less than triple. So you can see that still so many companies out there in Malaysia, they are Sharia compliant.
Yeah.
So takut tak nak invest sekarang? Kan? Banyak instrumen out there yang Sharia compliant. Okay? So kalau tak invest pun tak tahu. Ataupun kalau invest tapi invest in non-Sharia, tak tahu nak cakap apa. Okay? We have 715 Sharia compliant products out there as compared to 243. So please, like for the Muslim especially, please, if you want to invest, start investing in Sharia compliant companies. Start avoiding non-Sharia. There's no reason. Tak ada sebab pun tak nak invest in Sharia compliant. Okay? So, and for example, like the non-Muslim, you can still invest in Sharia compliant because you can see Sharia compliant products, they don't have any riba, gambling, one more is uncertainty, and also other permissible, non-permissible, for example, like cigarettes, tobacco, all that. So there's another name that that we have a new product out there called ethical, like ethical stocks or ethical shares. So this group of shares, they exclude all the unethical activities out there. So, and be assured that if you invest in a Shariah compliant product, we don't have all this. Okay, so that's 715. Yeah, so guys, that's a lot. Okay, even with all the strict process, the screening and all that, there's still more for us to invest.
Yeah, more Shariah compliant companies to invest in.
Exactly, exactly. Okay. So yeah, that's it. So that's I'm just going. I mean, this slide just to show you the ratio between Shariah compliant product and non-Shariah compliant product. And like, okay, we know stocks. Kita tahu saham. I've already mentioned to you what is saham. For example, I give an example of TNB. So you want to buy a piece of the business of TNB. So you want to buy it. So that's how you do it. But we also have different products. So Bursa Malaysia come up with all these different products. Okay, and I'm just focusing on the Shariah compliant securities. So as you can see, we have IETF, IREITs, and ETBS. So I'm going to explain. Is it okay if I'm just going to explain to you very quickly what all this other product means?
Yes, please do.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. So first of all is the Shariah compliant exchange traded fund or ETF. Okay, IETF. So what is ETF? Maybe ramai yang tak tahu apa itu ETF. Tapi tahu tak apa itu unit trust? Kan? Okay. Kita di Malaysia ni lebih arif tentang unit trust daripada ETF because we are not exposed to ETF. Like for example, matured market like in the US, okay? US have so many different type of ETF. So what is ETF actually? So ETF, the definition is actually an investment in a basket of companies or stocks. Similar tak dengan unit trust? Unit trust pun investment or basket of companies or stocks.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. But why is it the name different? Okay, the difference here is that the ETF tracks performance of an index. So they create an index. So we have KLCI, okay, Kuala Lumpur Composite Index. So there's an ETF that follows the KLCI. Okay, so understand?
Understand.
So that's the index. But unit trust different. Unit trust, they can pick the stocks and they put it into the basket. It can be random. You can take from construction, plantation, and so on. Like for example, in the US, because I do invest in the US stock market as well, because the ETF over there is very mature. So I give you an example. I invested in one ETF called Pay. Pay, P-A-Y. Okay, the ticker symbol is Pay. So apa itu Pay? Pay is a payment gateway. Okay. So where the ETF, they follow the track, so they take all the companies that work on the payment gateway.
Oh, okay.
So we have all this payment gateway. We have the mobile payment, Paylah, the Visa, the MasterCard. All these are payment gateways. So they put in all these companies into one index. So you can follow what does so we can see if, for example, the industry, is it booming or is it going down? So we have like properties, so it follows all the property company into one stock, so we can see property goes up or down. Technology company. So this is index, and then they create an ETF that mimics this company. So as simple as that. Yeah. Understand?
Yep.
And IETF, as the name sounds, Islamic, so it's Sharia compliant, and it's similar trading process to stocks, Islamic stocks, where you can actually invest through your broker. Like unit trust, how do you want to invest? You have to go to their platform or you have to meet with your agents, unit trust agent. But this ETF, you can invest yourself. You can just open a CDS account, and then that's a different talk. Okay? And then why do we want to invest in ETFs? Because first of all, it's there's diversification, because you don't invest in any one particular company. So contohnya kalau kita nak invest in TNB, okay, saham TNB. First of all, TNB is RM13.80. Itu nombor satu. Kedua, RM13.80, but in Malaysia you cannot just buy one unit, okay, different from overseas. So you have to buy lump sum, 100 units. So berapa satu saham TNB? If RM13.80, but you have to buy 100 straight away. One lot have 100.
1,300.
Yeah, you have 1,380 to buy one lot lah of TNB. So, but that's all. If you have 1,380, then that's all the company that you have. Instead, if you have that money, you can buy ETF. ETF, contohnya utilities. So instead of buying one, you buy a few utilities under one index, then you get TNB as part of it.
Okay.
Kan? So you nampak. So there's diversification.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the beauty about investing in ETFs. And then second is cost efficient. The service charge is actually lower than unit trust, you know. So because unit trust is a pool of basket of investment similar to ETF. So but it's very cheap. And I'll show you, there's a slide to compare between unit trust and also ETF. And you trade it like stocks. You buy and sell anytime throughout the trading day. But unit trust different.
Okay.
Okay. So the closing. So every time you want to sell, closing, and then it takes time, and then you need to call your agent. But at least you bypass all that. Good or good, right? And it's lastly it's fully transparent. So the investment portfolio is fully transparent as it tracks an index. So if you invest in the IBM KLCI, the top 30 companies in Malaysia, you can just basically that's the company that you invest. So you just click the KLCI, you already know where your money goes. But unit trust, in the fun fact sheet, they only show the top 5. But you never know the 6 up to the 10, you don't know.
Okay.
So that's the difference, the huge difference. So yeah, so these are the examples. You can see ETFs and unit trust. You look at the cost there. For ETF, for unit trust, sales charge is 3% to 5%. Management fee is 1% to 2%. But ETF, the brokerage fee is actually less than 1%. And management fee is less than 1%. Good or good?
Good.
Yeah, very good, right? Yeah, so and all the other difference. Okay, but I think that's the main thing in terms of the cost.
Yeah.
I just want to show you a few examples. So there's 2 examples of ETF. We have the My ETF Dow Jones Islamic Market Malaysia, Titan 25. So as you look at the name itself, you know, okay, it's ETF, Dow Jones Islamic Market Malaysia, Titans 25. So can you give a, you know, like a intelligent guess? What does it mean? 25 top Islamic companies in Malaysia. Yeah. So basically, it's just they look at the number 1. What is the top companies, and then this place. So that's how they create this ETF. And then, for example, I give you the example, top 10 holding. So we have TNB. Good. Yeah. So we have TNB. I mentioned to you before, TNB. And we have Petronas Chemical Group Berhad. Okay. IHH Healthcare. We have healthcare. So we have utilities. We have gas, oil and gas, chemicals. We have healthcare. We have plantation, Axiata Group. We have telecommunication, Dialog, IOI, Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad, and Press Metal Aluminium. So we diversify into different industries, not just different companies, but different industries. And these are top 10 holdings. That's like another 15 companies, which is not listed, but you can definitely see what company is it inside this ETF.
Okay.
And then my ETF Dow Jones US Titan 50 is top companies in US. The top 50 companies in the US, and it's Shariah compliant. Okay? Yeah, it's Shariah compliant. Who say investing in the USD? Oh, it's not Shariah. There is Shariah compliant. You just have to know how to find it, right? So top 10 holding includes Microsoft. We are using Microsoft computer now as we speak. Okay. So Apple, even if you don't use Microsoft, you
use Apple.
Apple, either or. My phone is Apple. So yeah. So you know, it's there. Facebook. Okay, I just posted on my Facebook. So wow, Johnson and Johnson. Who doesn't know Johnson and Johnson? Alphabet Inc. What is Alphabet Inc? Okay. Have you guys used Google? Have you used Google?
Yes.
Yeah. So the company that created Google basically is Alphabet Inc. And then we have Alphabet Inc. C, so that's A and C because the company is so big. And then we have ExxonMobil, which is oil and gas. Visa Inc. Payment gateway, like I mentioned to you.
Yeah.
So Visa, if I dare you take out your debit card, is it, you know, it's either Visa or MasterCard, you know? Procter and Gamble. So some of you might ask me, Procter and Gamble, Shariah compliant, are you sure? Okay, don't mistaken the gamble. Gamble bukan gamble judi, gamble. The nama Procter and Gamble. And as you can see, Procter and Gamble, they do all. If you go to shopping mall, all the sabun, pencuci pakaian, pencuci dishes, all that. If you look at the back, Procter and Gamble. Yeah, so they do all this. What you call this? Like barang-barang keperluan. Yeah, in the shopping mall. And then Intel Corp. Yeah, so okay, we're using HP, but Intel they build all the chip, microchip. So as you can see, if you notice, right, these are all the companies that you can invest. If you want to invest in any one of these companies, it's very, very, very expensive. Okay, so for example, like Facebook Inc. The share price, I'm not really sure the current share price, but it's roughly around 200 USD. So one share, 200 USD. But thankfully, in America, we can buy one share. Okay, we don't have to buy 100 share. Wah, mati lah 100 share. 200. Oh my God, 20,000
USD.
Yeah, USD some more. So but you can invest through ETF. So that's the beauty about having an ETF. And just wanted to say something lah. Looking at this, right? Pernah tak terfikir like, wow, all this while kita hanya beli produk-produk daripada company ni, kan? Why not we buy the business? Become a business owner. You will use it anyway. Like Facebook, we are using Facebook anyway. Why don't we buy a piece of the company? Tak kisahlah satu ke, dua ke, or even invest in the ETF, and then you can own the business itself. Okay, so just something to think about, something for you guys to think about. Balik nanti tengok, kan, all this while kita ni pengguna saja, kita guna barang saja. Start becoming a business owner rather than just a pengguna.
Yeah.
Something to think about. So that's ETF. Okay, so far clear? Okay. And then I move on to Shariah compliant real estate investment trust, or REIT. Okay, REIT is real estate investment trust. Basically similar concept like an ETF, but the difference is REIT, a pool of money that they use to invest in properties, in the real estate. Okay, and yeah, so they can, and they don't buy like one terrace house, so they are buying like shopping complexes, hospitals, plantation, office blocks. Do you, by any chance, do you want to own a piece of a hospital, for example?
Yes.
Right? Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, or even better, like building, office building, and all this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you can say that you're owning this building. So if you want to buy yourself, it's impossible. If it's impossible, I know some of you are super rich. It's possible lah. You buy this like every day, like beli pasar malam. But for those yang tak mampu, why not you buy REIT? Then you can have a piece of it. Okay, it's the same concept. And why invest? Number one is affordable, very cheap, stable income stream, because they need the law stated that they need to return 90% of whatever income that they receive from rental to the investors. Okay, so you get whatever rental income that they receive, they give you back in dividend.
Okay.
And highly liquid assets. So for example, if I buy this building, if I want to sell it, do you think I can sell it tomorrow? No. So, but REITs, you can sell it quickly. Okay. And last but not least, exposure to large scale real estate. So basically, this is just a diagram that shows that you are an investor. You invest in REITs, and then from the REITs, they acquire. They use the fund to acquire assets, and then from the assets, they rented the office, and from the rental income, they return back to you as the investor. So that's an easy explanation about how REIT works. And in Malaysia, currently we have 4 different REITs. Okay, so we have the Al-Aqar, Axis, KLCC, and Asalam. I just want to give you an example. KLCC. Okay. Do you want to own KLCC?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, definitely. I also want to own KLCC. I've just been to KLCC. Look at the number of people, especially during lunchtime. Oh my God, so many people. Wow, the business are booming. So why not we own a piece of it? Okay, we can invest. So KLCC, this KLCC REIT encompass of Petronas Twin Tower. So you buy KLCC REIT, you own a piece of Petronas Twin Tower, Menara 3 Petronas, and juga Menara ExxonMobil. So that's how REIT works.
Okay.
Okay. And last but not least is called the Exchange Traded Bonds and Sukuk. So this Sukuk, what is it? It's slightly different than bond. Okay, so basically, if you look at what is ETBS, it's a fixed income debt securities, also known as bond and sukuk, and similar to like REITs and also ETF, it's listed on the Bursa Malaysia. But what makes sukuk Shariah compliant is that it's backed by an asset. Okay, so I just mentioned to you like hutang, you know, hutang is if riba, for example, riba is the excess when we give loan and then we get the return on interest, based on interest. But sukuk, it's different in the sense that there's different type of sukuk. I won't go in detail, but it's backed by a real asset. Okay. So for example, like a land that you sort of like exchange in terms of money. Okay, you put the land, so that land menghasilkan income, so that becomes the returns that you get. So it's not like just a loan. Okay, so loan is different. Loan you give money, but if that money is backed by an asset, then it's backed by the asset. Okay. I don't want to talk in detail, but that's what it is. Okay. And why invest in ETBS? First of all, flexibility and ease of trading. So buying and selling is very easy, like trading a share, and it's very transparent that you can access in real time prices and volume. Like similar to all the instrument that I mentioned to you before, it's diversification. You don't buy one particular, but you diversify. And last but not least is it gives you an additional income stream. Because why? Because it gives you a steady income, okay, through regular coupon or dividend payment. Okay. So for those who are low risk averse, then you might want to consider investing in the in exchange traded bond and sukuks compared to the stocks. Why? Because the stock market is very volatile. Yeah. Okay, go up and down, go up and down. So your heart also will follow up and down, up and down. Yeah. So for those with weak heart, tak nak jantung, serangan jantung. That's it. So you can see there's so many. I've already mentioned to you, not just the stock itself, which is Shariah compliant. You know, we have so many Shariah compliant stocks out there, almost 700 or 600 something. Currently 600 plus of Shariah compliant as compared to 900 out in the market. So we have 600 over 900. So that's almost like what, 70%? Yeah. Close to 70% are Shariah compliant. So it is Shariah compliant. You know the nature, how I say that buying stock is Shariah compliant. It fulfill all the 5 pillars of contracts, buyer, seller, price, goods, and also the CEO. So yeah, it is Shariah compliant. And then not just the stock market, we also have different instruments. Thanks to Bursa, we also have the ETF, we have the ETBS, and also the IREITs. Okay. So then you will ask me, okay, fine, there's so many out there, but how to spot Shariah compliant instrument, right? Yeah. Yeah, how? Don't worry, I will show you how. Okay. So how do we spot Shariah compliant instrument? There's 4 ways. Okay. So number 1, you can just go to Google. Okay, go to Google and type Bursa Malaysia, and go into Bursa Malaysia, and you can type whatever company that you want to know, or even REITs, or even ETF. You just type the name. You just need to know the name. Okay, just find out the name and then you type it out. So for example, Tenaga Nasional Berhad. You type Tenaga Nasional Berhad, you click go, and you can see next to it there's S symbol. So what does S mean? It means Shariah. So that's Shariah. Number 2, if you go to Bursa Marketplace portal, okay, so that is Bursa Malaysia. Number 2, you look at the Bursa Marketplace. In any of the section, one of the tab, you can choose whether you want to invest in the stock market or the bonds or ETF, so on. There's like on the right side, you notice that there is like a small tab. You can click there, and it means Shariah compliant or not. So you just click that. So that's number 2. And number 3, you can Google the list of Sharia compliant securities issued by the Sharia Advisory Council. So you just Google and then download that list. So it give you quite a big list. You can go through that. Or for those yang masih membaca surat khabar, and also you can look at any of the local newspaper, and the symbol instead of putting S is like a square symbol, as you can see from the example. So that there are many ways for you to know whether a company is Sharia or not. So that's how you spot a Sharia compliant securities. Okay. So basically that's from me. And before that, if you can give me just like I think 5 minutes, is that okay?
Yeah,
just
sure.
5 minutes. I just want to tell you about Sharia investing on Bursa Malaysia I. So and this event is sponsored by Bursa Malaysia I. So just want to give me 5 minutes. So investing on Bursa Malaysia I, as you can see, Bursa Malaysia I is the world first. Bangga tak jadi Malaysian? Bangga jadi Malaysian sebab apa? Kita ada the world first end-to-end Sharia investing platform launch on 5th of September 2016. So, Sharia investing ni kita pioneer. Bangga tak?
Yes.
You know? Siapa cakap kita Malaysia small country, even though we have so many Islamic country out there, but we are the first to build this platform. And what do I mean by this investing platform, okay, Sharia investing platform? So as you can see, this diagram, there's so the blue one up there, that is how before 5th September 2016, how it works in terms of for those yang Muslim yang nak invest in Sharia company, Sharia compliant company. So you go in, you apply from a broker, but your broker is a non-Sharia broker, okay? And then you invest in a Sharia compliant company, okay? So basically you put your money, the money is held in not in a conventional account, but you invest in a Sharia company. But whatever money that is there, you get interest. You know, that interest is non-conventional, so it's a form of riba, okay? So you cannot use that money. And even after you sell the company, and the process, the step-by-step process, trading, clearing, depository, and settlement are all conventional, through conventional ways.
Okay.
And what's the difference between conventional and Islamic? It can be as simple as the contract itself, how they create the product itself. But after 5th September 2016, Bursa Malaysia I created this Sharia compliant platform. So you as an investor, okay, for Muslim who wants to invest in a Sharia compliant product, you open an account with a broker, with any broker out there. It's an Islamic account. So you can choose out there. There's an Islamic account. You can open an Islamic account. So the money that you put in, even if you don't invest in anything, you still get a return. Okay, that return is Sharia compliant, so you can use it. It's not a form of riba, but it's a form of dividend or hibah, depending on what system that they use.
Okay.
And then you invest in the Sharia company, Sharia compliant companies, and even the trading, the clearing, the depository, the settlement, all is also follows the Sharia way. So good or good? It's very good, right? So we have our own system. We have two separate systems, but it's your responsibility to open which one. Okay? If you go out there, if they offer you, like for example, like for me myself, my banker offer me to apply for a credit card. They show me the credit card. I know it's conventional. I ask him, is this conventional or Islamic? Oh, that's the conventional one. This is the Islamic one. Yeah, I want the Islamic one. You have to choose. You as the kita sebagai pengguna, kita kena ambil tahu benda ni. Okay? And nak cakap punya senang tu, sekarang we have 15 different brokers with Islamic stock broking services. Okay. So many.
Yeah.
We have a lot, guys. So you can choose, 15. If you want more, I don't know, like just open one first. You can just choose out of these 15 brokers. You can take picture of it from your phone or your computer, but open an Islamic stockbroking service. So hopefully everything will be in the Sharia compliant platform. Okay, so yeah, be a Shariah investor now. Okay, by the way, do I answer that question? Menjawab tak soalan? Melabur saham ni patut syariah ke? Now you know.
Yes.
Now Smita, do you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So is it Shariah?
Yes, it's Shariah.
It's Shariah if we choose the Shariah way, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So be a Shariah investor now. Yeah. Okay. Call Bursa I, register, activate your Bursa Malaysia I account and start investing on Bursa Malaysia I. Okay. I think that's all from me.
Okay.
And yeah, live responsibly, invest responsibly, and most importantly, invest Shariah. Okay, I pass back to Smita.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Adam Zubir,
You're
for the
welcome.
very insightful session.
Thank you.
So now we open up the floor for Q&A session. So if you have any questions, can you please put it in the question box, and Dr. Adam will answer your questions. So I repeat, if you have any questions, can you please ask them in the question box, and Dr. Adam will answer your questions.
Ada soalan? Dia kalau tak ada soalan ni dia ada dua je. Satu memang presentation terbaik. Faham tak? Satu lagi tak faham apa-apa, tak tahu nak tanya apa. So hopefully it's the earlier lah rather than the later. But yeah, but if you have question, please feel free to ask.
Okay, so now we have the question.
Oh, okay.
Are companies with preferred shares considered as Shariah compliant?
With preferred shares. Are companies with preferred shares considered as Shariah compliant? Preferred shares or ordinary shares, I think it's just the way they issue the shares. Okay, so in terms of whether it's Shariah compliant or not, you have to go back to the fundamental, like what do the company does in the first place? Is it like do they follow the Shariah compliant element or not? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's just go back to the company itself. Preferred shares, ordinary shares is how they issue the shares to you.
Okay. So actually, Dr. Adam, I just want to ask you like one of the main questions that I want to ask you, as being non-Muslim.
Yeah.
Is it okay if non-Muslims want to invest in Shariah products, Shariah companies?
Okay. So it's very, it's very okay actually. So like for you, Smita, you can invest in any of the companies. So the only difference is that, like I said, Shariah compliant product doesn't mean that you cannot invest. If not, you only have 200 something. You do have limited choice. No, you can invest in you can invest in any of them. But the thing about Shariah compliant, like I mentioned to you, they don't have these 4 elements. So which is interest, riba, gambling, any of the gambling, any of the uncertainties. So the business, you need to understand the business to its core. Then if there is any uncertainties on the system, on the management, ada banyak bawah meja semua ni, all this, so it becomes non-Shariah. And last but not least, all the other non-permissible products or businesses. So as you can see, if you want, like it can be an assurance for you that if you invest in a non-Shariah, in a Shariah compliant investment, that they don't have this kind of elements. Okay. So especially for those who feel that what, I don't want to invest in any company that deals with tobacco, because sometimes it's it's polluting the environment. Yes. Not just that, it's polluting our lung as well. So if you don't want to support that kind of business, then by investing in a Shariah compliant product, it means that the company is free from that, from all those things.
Okay.
Yeah, or even gambling. You don't want to support the business of gambling. Yes. You see a lot of people lose so much money in gambling, and you don't want to support that business. So you want to support businesses that deals with that do more good to the society rather than harm to the society. So Shariah compliant product give you that assurance.
Okay.
So it's you have that choice.
Thank you for that. So the next question is CFD Shariah compliant?
So I told you this in the beginning, right? Yeah. There will be people asking me about this CFD, this option. Okay. for me, because we are in this subject, you know, investing in stocks market. Okay, that's very clear cut. You invest in the stocks, you fulfill these 5 elements. The thing about CFD, I follow the expert. Okay, recently there's I don't know, do you know there's Dr. Daud Bakar. So he is he is one of the advisors for the Securities Commission in terms of the Shariah Advisory Council. Okay, so he's part of the panel. And just recently, I think last Friday, people asked this question, you know, CFD option. And if you want to look at the video in my page, you know, go at Dr. Adam Zubir, I posted about this topic. And clear cut, if you look at the end, at the 49 minute, there's a person asking this question, and he said, CFD option at the moment, there's no Sharia compliant at this moment. You know, they are still working on creating a Sharia version of option and CFD. But at this moment, around the world, regardless where you are, it's non-Sharia. So that's what he said. Who am I to, you know, say no? Like, he is out there, so I just follow what the experts say. So yeah, to that question, is CFD Sharia compliant? At this moment in time, there's no such thing as Sharia compliant for CFD or option.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can watch that video for better understanding.
Okay, thank you for that. Just let me scroll up a bit. Okay, so is the profit from Sharia compliant product paid zakat by the company?
Is the profit from Sharia compliant product paid zakat? Is the profit? Sorry, the question is the profit from Sharia compliant company lah paid zakat by the company? Okay, so I want to rephrase this question. Do you mean that whether the company, a Sharia compliant companies lah, paid zakat on their profit?
Yes.
That one, I'm not too sure. Okay, but the profit that you get from investing in this company, you still have to pay zakat on that amount. Okay, so that one I'm pretty sure. But in terms of the company, I'm not sure. You need probably there's a guideline about it, but from what I understand, it's not part of the criteria to make it a Sharia compliant product or not. It goes back because you look at the company itself lah, who the owner is. You know, sometimes this company, the owner mostly not. I mean, basically mostly non-Muslim, for example. So I don't think they have to pay zakat. But it goes back to the company, how they run the company, the product, the system, the management, all that has to fall under whether it's Sharia compliant or not. So yeah.
Okay.
But definitely the profit from your investment, if you invest in any of the company, you make huge profit, thousands and thousands of profit, don't forget to pay zakat, guys. That one is your responsibility. Okay? Don't think about other companies, you know, other people company, but you yourself. You need to pay zakat.
Okay.
Menjawab soalan?
Yes,
Okay,
answer the question. Okay. So the next question, if one of the co-located outside of Malaysia is doing Sharia non-compliant activity, does the parent Malaysian parent company still Sharia compliant?
Okay, this question I think I explained like how we sort of like go through the Atap holding. You know, remember the Atap holding?
Do you want to go back to that slide and?
Okay. Okay, so for example like this, okay? So yeah, so that particular company that you are buying, because the company, once they are listed in, for example, Bursa Malaysia, so they're listed in Bursa Malaysia, you are buying that particular company, so you look through this figure as well. So they can do, diorang boleh buat, for example, non-compliant Sharia activity. They can do games, they can do non-conventional, but then you look at the overall, the ratio, okay, the financial ratio. If it's, if it's beyond the threshold, and if there's one that is beyond the threshold, so looking at this example, is it non-Sharia or non-Sharia?
Better not to.
It's non-Sharia.
Yeah,
so you need to fulfill all the criteria. So there's 4 stages. You need to fulfill all the criteria. So back to this question: if the company, okay, sub company located outside of Malaysia, and still this company contributes to the turnover, to the profit before tax for this company that is listed in the Malaysian market, go back to this formula. You don't have to do this research yourself, but if you want, you can. But like whatever stocks that is listed in Malaysia, thankfully we have Securities Commission does it for us. Okay, we don't have to like, you need to open all the financial ratio, look at the core activities. No, we don't have to do that. You just look to see whether they approve it to be Sharia compliant or not. But that is how the screening happened. So they go back to the financial ratio, to the core activities, to the mixed activities, and then they find the threshold, whether it's above the threshold or less than the threshold. If it's less than threshold and we pass all that, so it becomes a Sharia compliant. Like here, even though the turnover is more, and even though the profit before tax is less, you can see it's less, it's 3%, less than 5%. But because there's an element of non-Sharia compliant,
so it's not.
Yeah, Securities Commission will take. Tak nak ambil ragu-ragu, we take it out.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's so many. There's plenty of business out there that we can invest.
Okay, thank you for that. So the next question is, how regular does Bursa audit or validate the Sharia compliant company maintain the 4 fundamental requirements? Is it done annually or randomly?
Okay. How regular does Bursa audit validate the Sharia compliant company? Okay. So how often? And also there's a slide here. I think I missed it. Okay. As you can see here, Sharia screening process, new listing come up semi-annually. So to answer your question, you can see May and November. So in May and November, they will release a new list. And some of the company, even though the company used to become, so for example, any company, now it's October, right? So now any company that is Sharia compliant now doesn't mean that it will remain Sharia compliant because of this process.
So if they check it now in October, it's Sharia compliant, but then in November it's not, so it's not.
Yes, so it's non-Sharia. So you always have to go. You need to be aware of this. So especially for those long-term investors. So these long-term investors, they invest their money in a company for the long term. So it's for their retirement fund, for education fund, and so on. So when you invest in this company, for example, in November, when they come up with a new list saying that the company that you currently invested is non-Sharia, you need to sell off the company. If the company is making a loss, then you can wait until the company break even, then you sell off the company. But if the company is making a profit, you have to sell it off immediately. And then if you don't sell it immediately, whatever profit that you get after it is been announced that it's non-Sharia, that money you cannot use. That profit from the date that they say it's non-Sharia. Do you understand?
Understand.
Yeah. So it will become non-Sharia, and that money you can only put into Baitul Mal. So you give away to Baitul Mal.
Okay.
But so every May and November.
Okay.
Okay. So it's twice annually.
Twice annually. So it's actually quite frequent.
Yes, they have to do it. And I think there's so many companies out there. Twice annually, that's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair because the amount of work that they have to put in, Securities Commission, they have to go to one by one. That's how they do it.
Okay, so the next question.
Wow, so many questions, right, guys? So good. Means that you listen.
Okay, so how does an NGO that does not make any profit be eligible to be a Sharia compliant company?
Okay. How does an NGO that does not make any profit be eligible to be a Sharia compliant company? Do you understand that question?
No.
Yeah, I don't really understand. So, because, okay, first of all, do you want to know in terms of whether an NGO that is listed in the Bursa Malaysia? I don't think any NGO
Yeah, I
is
don't think
listed in
there's
the
any-
Bursa Malaysia.
Yeah.
So why you want to know whether it's Shariah compliant company or not? So sorry, I don't really understand this question. But like what I would say, how does an NGO that does not make any profit be eligible? Go back to the fundamental. If you have the profit, then you have the so like I say, there's the qualitative and also the quantitative. Okay, so the you look at the qualitative, you look at the four elements. You know, the four elements, whether it has any elements of riba, any elements of gambling, any elements of uncertainties, or other non-permissible activities. So if they are doing one of these four, then it becomes a non-Shariah. If it's not, then you have to look at the picture, at the overall picture, not just the profit. What does the business do? You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so for our last question, we are already running out of time.
Yep.
Okay.
Last question.
Last question. So the last question will be, how to change my CDS account to Shariah CDS account?
Okay, that's easy. So you just go to your broker and then you tell them, I want to change my CDS account to an Islamic CDS account. So yeah, so just go to your broker or to your banker and then just ask them to switch, because it's a whole different type of brokerage system. Yeah, so they can just switch. So from the money that you have, they switch it to an Islamic broker.
Oh, so they can just switch it for you. Don't have to do any.
Depending on the broker that you have. So go back to them and then ask them to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So that's all the questions for today.
Yep.
And
thank you very
yeah.
much.
So thank you, Dr. Adam Zubir.
Yes.
So
you're
before we
welcome.
end the night, I'll just
just press this button.
oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So for our next webinar, for our fourth webinar series with Bursa Malaysia I, it will be Jadi Apa Itu Melabur. So yeah, so our next speaker will be Mr. Faiz Wahab, and the date will be on the 19th of November, which is a Tuesday as well. At the same time, 8:30 to 9:45, and the registration over here, I will drop the registration in the chat box, so you can register here. Hold on, yeah. Okay, so here's the link. If you can see the link in the chat box, you can register for the next webinar on the 19th of November, and we'll talk more about the stock market.
Yeah, apa itu melabur?
Apa itu melabur?
More depth in terms of the stock market. Macam mana kita nak melabur dalam saham? Wow, interesting. Okay.
Okay, so thank you so much again, Dr. Adam Zubir, for your time.
Thank you for having me here. It's a great pleasure and to be able to share this. Hopefully a lot of people start to invest in, go for Shariah, be a Shariah investor.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting because I only thought that Muslims could only invest. Only Muslims could invest in Shariah compliant.
Yes, no, that's a big myth.
Yeah.
No, everyone can invest in Shariah product. Okay. It's just a classification to tell us to know that okay, we can invest in this company safely. And kita ada keyakinan, we have the confidence to invest.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So thank you so much again, Dr. Adam Zubir, and thank you everyone for being a very good participant for tonight. So we'll see you again next time.
All right, see you. Bye bye.
Thank you.